All right. Hey, welcome back to another Sledder Cast podcast episode. Doing things a little bit differently. Today, we've got some guests from around the world today. And we're hoping internet and Wi Fi and everything works for us and we don't have any technical difficulties. That stuff's out of our controls. But we're pumped. I've got the crew from the Sledders Game on with us. And we've got some cool things to announce, some cool things to talk about. I'm sure most of you have seen the TikToks or the Instagram reels of people playing the new Backcountry Snowmobiling game and wondered what the hype is all about and what's actually going on with it. And so um, we've been in communication with these guys for, man, I don't know, 4 or 5 months probably, and we're excited to announce some cool stuff with Sledders. But why don't we just kind of get a brief introduction? I've got Sami and Niko. Sami, why don't you just give us a brief
Hey,
introduction as far as who you are, where you're at, what you do there at Sledders.
absolutely. Yeah. Hey, greetings from the Arctic Finland here. It's not the snowmobiler's paradise at the moment because it's been raining for 2 weeks almost here, water. I'm here from Lapland and I'm representing the sales department of Sledders. So I'm the video games publisher. I'm not making the game, but I'm trying to make it possible that Nico and his talented crew are making the game as great as possible. Happy to be here.
Awesome, thank you, Sami. So, Sami, you're on the sales side of things, sales and marketing, and just pumping Niko and full of ideas and feedback from the market as far as what to build. So, Niko, you are uh, uh, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing there at Sledders.
I'm Niko Autio, and I'm currently the lead developer of the Sledders. And I can say that I started the project. Uh, Nowadays, I think I use most of my time quite technical side, so solving different kind of physics problems, also with quite deep in the game engine and stuff. Uh, Try to keep much as away from the business side as possible.
Yeah. So Niko, you're the engineer of the game, kind of the mastermind behind the technical side of how the game works. Are you the only engineer on the project, or is there a few other engineers there with you working?
Some gradient, yes. There's I think I'm the purest if you wanna use that engineer term. So the rest of the team is more or less generalist or leaning to the arts style. But yeah,
So
so I
you're
think
but you
yeah we
yeah
have like one this very art orientated developer. Then we have one middle guy who is very generalist and uh, do everything, and I'm on the technical side. So that's the development team at the moment.
nice. So you guys are in I forgot the city that you guys are from. You guys are both you're in different cities right now, but what are the two cities again?
Yeah, so I'm from the Kuopio. It's a little bit southern and a little bit southeast from Oulu, where Sami is coming from.
Both in Finland.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here up north. Yes, Finland, Finnish guys.
Nice. And when did the so as far as the idea, I think I first saw sledders popping up like on Instagram and TikTok. Man, it probably would have been early fall, maybe late summer, early fall. Does that does of 2023? How long have you guys been working on this project? When did it kind of start?
Yeah, it started. I think it was fall 2020, and yes,
2020.
yeah. So it and as far as I know, it has first appeared on TikTok on very late of
Yep.
23. So that's when
So,
it's slip out, so to speak.
yeah. So, well, basically 3 years in the works behind the scenes. You guys are cranking on this project, and then we start seeing it in the public in the fall of 2023. That's cool. So, um, how did I know you guys are from Finland. There's snowmobiling there. Where did the idea come from as far as, hey, we should create a snowmobiling backcountry style game? Where did that idea come from?
Yeah, I am quite long-term snowmobiler, and I think that I was just very amused how interesting ways how snowmobile actually move on snow. I have I have some experimental driving simulators before, nothing to publish, but just to test how these things usually work. But those I didn't never saw any reason to actually push them forward, because market is so full of them, and existing car games, for example, are so high quality. There is no make sense to make yet another India one. So, and also it's quite solved problem. So if you look for the internet, you can find how it's done, and yeah, it's mostly just learn from the others. But I have always been quite interested about problems that there is no existing solution from textbook. So I think that's the combination of it. So
Yeah. So basically, it's like, hey, we're familiar with snowmobiling. We know how to program games. We don't want to go into the auto space with cars because there's lots of competition there. Really hard to compete in that space. Let's go solve a problem in the snowmobiling space where there's not really much of an option there for gamers to really jump in and get an idea of what backcountry snowmobiling is like from a gaming standpoint, and that's kind of where you guys started. Did I interpret that and understand that correctly?
yeah, I think it's very good to understand that Sledders definitely didn't start from the standpoint that it will be a commercial project. We started purely as a hobby and just personal pursuit that is it possible to simulate snow. And it actually commercialization came long after that, when it was developed for quite a long time.
Yeah. What's been so as far as getting the game to where it's at right now, and we'll go into kind of how the gameplay currently is, and then we'll also chat about what the future of the game looks like. What's been the biggest challenge for you guys up to this point, getting the game to where it's at right now?
And I think the physics, it is always a thing.
So when you say, Niko, when you say the physics, do you mean like
constant battle of that hill? I don't know. It has been 2-year fight, and we are building this hard surface model, which is more like traditional car game simulation. It's again same, so fighting with the physics. I think it's hard to say any single biggest battle on that ground. But
So when you say physics, though, are you meaning like giving someone an experience of what it actually is like snowmobiling, how the snowmobile moves in powder, how it turns? I've seen cool shots of tree riding, and I mean, so far it feels like when you're watching, like you guys have done a pretty decent job as far as creating that almost like a GoPro, like you're watching someone, wearing a GoPro snowmobiling, around some backcountry terrain.
Yeah, definitely. I think the feel is very hard to get right, and I have heard many times some critique that you don't know nothing about snowmobiles because it acts like this and this and this, but it also, even if you know what it should do, it's very hard to actually act like this because the way things are so indirect. We are not saying that when you are pushing throttle, we twist that somewhere, and if it's really too much, we like move it very manually. No, it's we simulate this thing in like virtual volumetric snow, and it's all small interactions, and the final way how it actually feels to move in snow comes from these many little interactions. So yeah, you cannot just say that it tune it a little bit that way, and it changes always everything, and so many parameters to tune, and models are always imperfect, and so on.
Well, yeah, I mean, it can be hard sometimes to get snowmobiles to perform the way you want them to in real life. So to try and mimic that in a gameplay, I can imagine is that much harder. As far as like the gameplay goes, I don't know if Sami or
Well, I'm gonna say that I have never driven from one corner to another. I suck at the high hill climb. I'm not really good at climbing the hills, so it's impossible for me to even reach all the corners of the map. So I would say the team has made really good work with the maps. I think, is it like 6 kilometers by 6 kilometers, or is it even bigger nowadays?
Right now, I think it's 6 by 6.
Yeah, it's huge.
So 6 kilometers by 6 kilometers. Sami just said he hasn't even ventured across the entire landscape. That's what I thought was cool when you guys were telling me about this, is how big the landscape was, and like how we can go and explore, the different features that are on the map. As far as gameplay goes, single player, multiplayer, how does that interaction, how does that play out?
Yeah, well, of course, right now Sledders don't have much, so to speak, real gameplay, so it's all free ride, and multiplayer is just free ride with friends. The plan is that when we add some sort of single player career, we kind of keep that multiplayer experience such that you can cooperatively play that single player career with your friends. That's the one I think the biggest part, and of course there will be some kind of competitive multiplayer things, I hope, at some point, but there's not too clear ideas about them, or how to connect those experiences. Maybe, of course, there is some obvious ones like Snowcross or hill climbing, where there's quite good real world counterparts about those competitions. But,
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
So right
But
now it's just free. It's just freestyle. Or sorry, right now it's just backcountry free riding. Get the boys and girls to get the crew together. Let's go explore some terrain. See if we can make some hill climbs, some nice lines, and just explore the map.
yeah,
What you're saying is, as far as looking into the future, what we're looking at is some single player, multiplayer challenges, competitions, some snowcross, some hill climb competition. Those types of things are potentially on the future roadmap to build out.
yeah. It's good to still understand that we are still developing the quite like fundamentals of the game. So there's too much details about those future plans yet. So yeah, they're
Nice.
just on paper.
Yeah, we were
Okay.
actively developing the game just like last year when Bonus Stage Publishing, the publisher side, my company started working with Niko. It was doing well with Patreon. It had tens of thousands of players. But then the players started demanding more and more, and people wanted to I want my friends to be able to play with me. So we just kind of made Nico to hurry up the development so we can release the game as it is at the moment, because it's a really good game at the moment. Even if there's like some challenges or some minor, let's say minor details to be ironed out, we can still have the game out and let the community actually help us develop the games. Let them tell that, okay, we need exhausts in the game. We need tuning for the sleds in the game. We need more hills. We need like everything people want in the game. So it's not just our company who are with the ideas, but we are bringing the game for the community, and the community is bringing themselves to us, and that's the beautiful part of the game development with this game especially.
Yeah. And you guys right now, so for those who are familiar with Sledders, right now it's currently on Steam, available on Steam. Um, and that is going to stay that way until, fingers crossed, the end of this year, December 2024. That's kind of the goal, the target out there, right?
Yeah.
What's going to happen at that point? How are you guys going to roll this out?
Well, today we started talking at the office, like, should we make like a plan of what to do actually when we have promised that the game is coming out this year, later this year, what to do actually. And there's a few people who have been asking when it's gonna come to Xbox, when it's gonna come to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, and we are trying to get them out. And I know Nico is worried about our promises. Let's say that, fingers crossed, the game is coming out this year.
As any good developer would, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sammy's out here making promises that Nico's got to go keep, and Nico's like, "Come on, Sammy,
Yeah,
hold on."
but game development is hard. We are bringing the game out on PC, consoles worldwide, making everybody who's interested in any kind of action or sports games, make them enjoy snowmobiling and make the field of snowmobilers even bigger.
Yeah, Sammy, what I thought was was interesting is I saw kind of just some backstory here. Maybe we should have started with this, but um, I'd started seeing Sledders pop up, and in my mind, I was thinking, "Man, this is really cool. I need to look into this more." As being here with Deviant Ink, it's like and the whole skins and people wanting to customize and trick out their machines, my brain's starting to think like, man, how can we get involved here? And I just kept seeing you guys pop up. All of a sudden I get an email. An email comes in from Sami, and he's from Sledders. I'm thinking, what in the world is going on here? And long story short, you guys were at the Power Sports Snowmobile show, right?
In
Was it
in
in
Lapland.
Finland?
Yeah, it's Lapland, Finland. It's
Yep.
it's only in Finnish, so it's kelekkamessut in Finnish, but it's the I think it's the Europe's biggest, most snowmobiling show.
So Europe's biggest snowmobile show. You guys are there. You're walking around, and what happened? Like
Yeah,
you were explaining to me, kind of what happened.
yeah, I don't.
Would you mind retelling
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I don't remember which one was the booth. It was some, I think it was some booth that was selling clothing and that kind of merch, and there was someone's sled, and it had cool like these fluorescent neon wraps on it. And I was like, what? That's cool. I want my future sled to look like something like that. It's gonna shine and it's gonna be beautiful in my garage. And I was looking like, oh, what's this company called Deviant Ink? Have they made this thing here? What's the thing? And I went through to your website and I was looking like, yes, I want them to sponsor us. And I had no kind of like a clue like what the cooperation would be and like how huge company you are, like are you available or are you open for any kind of like talks to a game? And you responded within like one day, like yes, let's talk more, absolutely. And it's just
Oh,
started
I was ready. We were
yeah.
ready.
And you immediately when we talked, it was you and Mac there, and you realized that okay, guys at your workplace had been talking about the game, like how can we get in the game? Is there any kind of like like opportunity to partner up? So it was like it was sweet synergy from the first moments, I think, and I think we are starting to wrap some sleds here at Sledders.
Yeah. So to kind of recap this whole thing, so we connect. We're shooting ideas back and forth, and so we're pumped to partner with you guys and be the exclusive snowmobile route provider inside Sledders,
Yeah.
which means at some point over the next few months, we're working with you guys. We're going to make a handful of our wraps available with the goal and the end, the end goal in mind that, as a user is in their shop, in their garage, and they're customizing their snowmobile, that they'll be able to treat that machine as if you would on our own website, and customizing the look of their machine. So um, right now we're going through, okay, if we were to launch between 1 and 5 designs with Sledders, which of our 5 which designs should we make available? And so if you're listening to this and you're on socials, drop us a comment or something and let us know. We have a pretty good idea what designs you're going to want to see, and we've seen some of them already in the game. With users uploading some of the things, some of the designs. We've seen a lot of our overcast design, which is what Muskoka Freerider used last year in all of his snowmobiles. That's a really popular design, and so but we're super stoked to be working with you guys. It's
Likewise.
so cool to just think, real life, this is what we do, but now there's an opportunity to, spice up a game and provide users and players with, different skins that they can throw on. So
Absolutely, and like mention shortly that at my company bonus stage we have released like 20 games, before Sledders, but Sledders and the snowmobiling community has been just way over the top in the enthusiasm and the let's say positive craziness of what's happening. Like everybody is so energetic, so like full of joy when they are playing the game and how they want to see the game to develop for their needs and for their family. And dads are buying PCs for their kids so they can start playing the game already. So I think from the 2021 Niko idea, like I want to be able to ride snowmobile in summer as well and on PC. It has
Yeah.
developed quite far from that. It has become a phenomenon.
Yep. And earlier in the podcast, we were talking about 2020 when things kind of kicked off, but really it was 2021. Niko corrected that off camera here. So it's been in the works for a few years. I've shared this on the podcast before. Snowmobilers, it's such a unique hobby. It's such a unique space because almost every other hobby that's out there, you can go and do that. Like throughout the year, you can drive a little ways and you can go and golf, you can go and ride dirt bikes. But in order to snowmobile, you have to have one thing that's very important, and that's snow. And that only comes for 3, 4, 5 months of a year, depending on where you live, and then it gets boom taken away. So having a game like this, I think, is going to scratch that itch, right? It's going to provide that relief for those of us who want a little bit of snow, in the summer and springtime. So really cool. I know we've talked about like the full release coming, not a specific dates. We have some end of 2024. What are some of the things that, if I'm new to Sledders, that you guys can tell me now that's going to get me excited about that full release version?
Okay, at least one thing that I confirmed today is that okay, if you have played Sledders, what there are to complain, and okay, there might be a lot of things, but one quite common is the sounds. And we start.
Did you say the songs?
Sounds, henkinen sounds, and maybe exactly, and maybe game sounds as a complete thing. So we start working with a Swedish pole position with the engine sounds, and they have quite impressive reference list. It contains many AAA car games. You can go to the site if you want to see specifics, but the real impressive top-notch AAA games. So we are using their service to get some level up to the henkinen sounds. They are actually, I think, maybe only such game audio company in the world who has actually recorded snowmobiles previously. So I think if they cannot handle us, then nobody can.
So you guys are working with an outside company to kind of tone in the different sounds, which brings me to another question. Different sounds of different machines. So currently, what snowmobile manufacturers, or I don't know if we can talk about the names, but I guess what brands are in there, could possibly be in there right now? Are you guys shooting to have all of the manufacturers?
Yeah,
Or
that's a good question.
Or snowmobiles that look like certain types of snowmobiles.
Yeah, we haven't made any official sleds or brands in the game yet. They have been invented from the hats of Niko. what are the names of the sleds there? I don't remember, but we are in quite active talks with all the big manufacturers. Obviously, we want the community to be able to play and ride with the gear that they have in real life and they are fans of in real life. Like we are working with Deviant Ink to bring your wraps in the game. We want exhausts in the game. We want handlebars. We want like BRP backpacks in the game. We want BRP sleds in the game as well. We want Lynxes. We want Polarises. We want Ski-Doos. We want everything in the game because the fans want them. So we
Yeah.
we can
They want to ride what they ride in real life, you know?
yeah, and also see like what's happening in the future for the sleds they love. Like for example, now that last week one manufacturer released their next year's lineup, it would be so cool to see those specs in the game. Like you don't need to go to any catalog or reseller. You can go in the game and see, oh, this has this many horsepower and this kind of shocks. And I can say for sure that we are bringing the real world brands in the game, but I'm not able to disclose the names and schedules yet. But they are coming in this year.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I know you had mentioned the garage or the shop aspect of the game. I don't know how far in development that is yet, but it sounds like it's something that's on your guys' radar as far as modding out your machine, you know, selecting this customization and this a ski, a handlebar, you know, an exhaust, a certain sound that I want my machine to sound like. Which is super cool, man. It's because it's what snowmobilers do in real life. You know, like they want to make a machine run the way they want it to run, sound the way they want it to sound, look the way they want it to look. And so I think it's just going to cross over just so nicely for you guys.
Yeah. And this will be the long road. We are talking about that full release is coming then and then. Like, okay, it was plan was that it was the end of this year, but I think the realism is that because we are doing this with a small team, we are not established a studio, and we are learning on the way. So on the end of the year, we have something much better than we have now, and hopefully it comes from the consoles and so on. But it's not gonna be a thing that okay, it's beginning of the 25 and it's it's out and we start moving on something or other thing. No. I think we are stick with this project quite long time, and it will be just one milestone on the way. So I think this full release is a little bit. I don't know. Many people like to think use that term, but at least to me, it's like a little bit. I don't know. Miten harhaanjohtava Sami sanoo.
It's misleading thing. Like it's going to be one gate that we are opening, and then we are speeding more because we go to the consoles, and it's going to be a starting point from something new for the same game. So it might be that we are doing Sledders 2, Sledders 3, Sledders 4, just like EA Sports is pushing out their NHL and FIFA games every year.
Yeah.
But it might be that Sledders, it's going to be a 15-year franchise, just keeping evolving with the community of the players. But what's for sure, it's going to be that we are pushing limits quite heavily, like what we can do. Deep snow, deep powder snow, it's one thing, but making hard surface trails, roads, anything like props like that, different kind of trees. It's a lot of like a manual work, and like people like team of 3 people in the development. We have in marketing we have 4 people, so there's more people in marketing than in development. So that's pretty crazy. So it's gonna take its time, and it's gonna be lots of like a good quality Finnish Arctic handwork.
Yeah. So a question that I have for you guys, and it's not even, we didn't even talk about this before, I don't think, but just out of my own curiosity, if you guys wanted to build out maps, for locations, let's call it Revelstoke, Colorado or Island Park, the Teton, just areas that are kind of popular where backcountry snowmobilers ride. How do you guys do it? Like, how would you do that? Are you able to take advantage of like a Google Maps where you can kind of see terrain? Like, is there some way that you guys can like tap into that API and get an idea of how the terrain flows and then kind of recreate that in a game format? Or like, how would you go about doing that?
Yeah, so I think the techniques they use in the, let's say, real life racetracks, for example, they're using laser scanning, and that's not simply feasible to some multi-square kilometer areas. So I think it's all hypothetical, of course. But if we would start replicating the real location, of course, the start position will be some public map data points. So usually you can get H data on resolution of, I think, the 10 meters. That's quite common. You can get globally from anywhere.
Yep.
And that's I think it's a reasonable starting point. But of course, anybody can understand that if you have terrain where one height data point is 10 meters apart from the another one, it won't be very interesting or a detailed experience. So on top of that, I think it's just using different kind of procedural methods to add some details on top of that with of this, look all the information you can from the other types of maps or pictures and so on, and just combine with procedural things with handwork and with the knowledge you can gather.
Yeah, it's like you spread like a fabric or a cloth on a table, and then you just start pinching. Like, here's mountain, you pinch the fabric higher than a smaller mountain, and you pinch the fabric. So it's quite like the 3D modeling of the map. It's not that straightforward, but close to that. So that the real world maps don't work that well, but we just need to travel there first.
I think you guys need to travel here too. Get your eyes on it. Get your real, the eyeballs on there and see what the terrain is like.
Yeah.
And then hop on a snowmobile and see what the Rocky Mountain snow is all about.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah,
so, anything else, gentlemen? I think we've covered gameplay. Actually, one question I had about gameplay: what happens when you get stuck? So I haven't played the game yet on Steam, but what happens when you get stuck? Is it like if you get shot or killed or whatever in a game, you just kind of like go back to the starting point and start over again, or do you have to work and get yourself unstuck?
Right now you can simply press the button and you kind of respawn on the top of the snow. So you can get very easily ongoing. There have been some ideas that little bit tune that mechanism to make it, at some cost to getting stuck. and
negative
but
effect of getting stuck, right? Because
yes, only slightly, but maybe a little bit more interesting that you can kind of move the sled manually, so you can little bit retarget where the nose is going on and so on. But you can, it's not only disadvantage, but only kind of you can little bit more effort, but more powerful respawning.
Yeah,
you're gonna get these youngsters who these kids who grow up playing this game and they think when I get stuck, I just push the button on my handlebar and I'm not stuck anymore. They're going to get out there in the real world and think, where the heck is my unstuck button on my sled?
Yeah.
I actually got to work to get the sled unstuck.
We've been talking about like a VR version, that if we ever get a VR, like a virtual reality version, you just need to be like, you have to like start using a lot of your power to get the sled moving. Pin and wiggle, like get your sweats up, and then you need to have your shovel there, and you just start shoveling in the game. But it has to be there.
Yeah, I think that will be it will be the hardcore more.
Anyways, there's just so many, like, even just talking right now, and we've had multiple conversations outside of this podcast episode, but even just on here right now, I'm thinking how cool it is to, like, get some of these professional backcountry snowmobilers involved and saying, hey, I'm going to do a virtual ride day today on Sledders. Who wants to join me? The first 30 people who are in, and you get to go, like, put the headset on and go ride with so and so in the game. There's just so many little things like that I think are going to be super cool for you guys. So let's do just a final recap as far as the timeline of events here. I see it all the time in your guys' comments. Hey, when's this? When are you going to do this? When's this going to be available? So maybe this will just kind of be a nice kind of final timeline, not final, but timeline of events. Right now, the game is on Steam. Over the next, spring and summer, you're taking feedback from players that are playing in Steam to make, small adjustments, minor tweaks. And this is all happening on the computer Steam side of it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
At the same time, you're working for a future date that might be end of the year, it might push into 2025. But the goal is to get to be platform based, right? To be on the console base, right? To be on the different consoles and getting out into those markets.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that pretty accurate as far as kind of just a general overview of what the timeline looks like?
Yes, absolutely. I'm not sure how many updates are we actually promising before the full big release, but I think right now we can promise that there's the next update is from the recording date. It's coming in 1 month. So at the end of March, there's going to be the next bigger update. There's going to be a load of stuff. And the most recent, like the most updated list you can always see on our Discord server, where it's like 30,000 players all the time. But I think we are trying to squeeze in one more update before the full release. So there's gonna be lots of new content, and then we are pushing smaller updates and smaller beats and merge in the game and garage in the game between the updates.
Yeah. So if someone wants to follow along with updates and just be aware of what's going on with Sledders, what's the best way for them to do that? Is it through Discord, or is there somewhere else that that they should be tapping into to follow along with the progress of the game?
Yeah, Discord is the best. It's the sleddersgame.com, and you can find our Discord link there. I can send you the link later, but on our website you can find our Discord link, and I think 30,000 people are there at the moment from all over the world. Well, basically from the north, because not a lot of Egyptians are at the moment playing snow games, but let's change that in a year.
Nice. Well, cool. So we end every podcast episode with the same two questions. I think I briefed you guys this. I can't remember if I did. I think I did though, right?
Yeah.
With the same two questions, right? So if you have a new snowmobile, what are the first? You only get 3 mods you can make. A wrap doesn't count. What are the 3 things you're going to go that you would want to do to that snowmobile to kind of spice it up? And then the last question is, well, what's that unique thing that no one knows about you? That's interesting that we're going to unveil here on the Sledder Cast podcast. So we'll start with Sami.
Oh, I was worried.
Niko.
I was worried that I need to start. Well, first of all, I need a sled. At the moment, I don't have anything in the garage, and there's a spot for my sled, and I think that I'm quite interested in the Brutal that was released a week ago. That sounds interesting.
The old Lynx, huh?
Yeah, it looks cool and it sounds cool, but my first things that I really need for my sled is a saw, because the trees are magnets, and then I need a shovel because
have a good saw. There we go.
Yeah, a shovel. I suck at snow, so those are the two bigger things. And of course, then I'm gonna say that the GGB exhaust, it's gonna be a good thing for me, so my friends know when I'm stuck. There's nothing hearing from me anymore, though, so they know to radio call me and say, "Hey, Sami, do you want any help?" So I think those are my mods at the moment. if wraps.
Nice. So we've got a saw, a shovel, and GGB exhaust.
Yeah.
There we go. 2 of those are new. The saw and the shovel I haven't heard yet. So there we go. Okay. All right, Niko, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I think I will always reinforce the bottom of the sled. So, of course, the standard, the bottom cover, but some additional covers from the bottom of the brake disc and chain.
So when you say the bottom of the sled, are you saying like rail braces down around the track, or?
No, the cover the brake disc bump. If you look sled from the under, there is on the BRP sleds.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so there's some
underneath the nose cone. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there's some so let's say vulnerable places. So I always cover them, because there were some cases where we were riding with my friend, and both of us get those things slammed in, and we slam them back on the normal shape. Then after the next trip, all the same thing. So after that, we have always get some extra reinforcement there. GPS. I don't. I don't know what.
Lost.
Yes. There was some long trip, and I still it was just like Vietnam for me. It was awful, and otherwise it was cool, but the whole freaking day it just went to that. I was unlocking my phone and seeing where the fuck I am. And, but other than that, I'm very much stock snowmobile. Sadly, I think also that a snowmobile should be as unidentifiable as possible. So
yeah, just right out of the box.
silence as possible. And if somebody saw me somewhere where you shouldn't be driving, okay, it was that sled with the dragon's wraps. No. It must be just as ordinary lynx, which is most common sled here.
Yeah. Cool. So you guys have a few different things. GPS is nice, obviously. Most of the manufacturers are adding GPS componentry on the machine right from the factory, which is nice. Is a nice thing to add, of course. Sami, so what's the next question is what's that secret, man? What's that thing out of Finland? What's going on over there?
What's my secret, or what's Finland's secret? I think Finland's secret it's the liquor here and the spirit of Finnish people. Eurovision, it's not the biggest thing in the States, but we have this stupid thing called crazy thing called Eurovision Song Contest, and we had this one guy last year who was taking over the world, and I think the enthusiasm that like Finnish artists and all the Finnish creative people are bringing more and more into the world at the moment, it's helping us to gain some momentum and get some speed going on. And my secret is that I'm all the time getting more and more proud of my home country, and I'm brave enough right now to say that we are sledders and we are coming from Finland to rule over the world, and our vision is to unite the world of sledders and bring more happiness and joy into the world.
That's awesome. And as far as like your current conditions right now, because I know out here in the West, kind of a blanket statement, this winter has been kind of low as far as snow goes. How are the snow conditions for you guys in Finland this year? Has it been average, above average, below average?
I think at least here it was been best year for a long time.
Really?
It's the best year.
Yeah. We are living a little bit. Okay, it's Sami. Is it not the same guest there?
No, let's say that we don't have any snow anymore. It's I could show you, but it's like pitch black outside.
Whoa.
But we had a lot of snow like week ago, but now everything has gone because it's been raining. It's been plus degrees, plus Celsius degrees, and we pretty much don't have any snow anymore. And also the same conditions are there in like the Swedish Lapland, which is like the paradise of Finnish powder snowmobilers. It's just rain and everything is going away. But let's hope it gets better.
Yes, I was talking about last week or a week before that. But
yeah, up until this week, it's been one of the best years ever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Nice. Okay, Niko, don't think you're getting out of this one. So, what's that secret that you got for us?
Secret. I like to think a lot about so to speak, long-term things and very long-term things. That it usually relates to the space and stuff. I'm always so fascinating that moon has so much titan, and we can actually use it as our first base for the building our space civilization. And what's the other some useful facts that it is a Andromeda galaxy. I think they're colliding us quite soon. So many people are saying that Earth is doomed by then, and so what? But hey, I think it's very interesting that I think the solar system itself can have, as far as I know, habitable places at that point. And if interstellar traveling is a big challenge, it's good to notice that our local interstellar space can be quite different during and after that event. But okay.
So are you saying that there's like life on other places as well?
No, I didn't say
Okay,
that.
cool.
I
got scared. I can tell you a good secret about Niko as well, because you know that Finland is a part of NATO nowadays, and there's this big NATO training coming up in here in Finland and Norway. And this guy is actually a snowmobile messenger in the Finnish army, and he's going there to train with the NATO troops there. And so think about the dream job in the army.
So wait, so Niko is a snowmobile trainer for the army within NATO.
Well,
is that what I?
No. You overheard it.
I'm in the sales. Remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you are going to training next week, and it is snowmobiling involved.
Yes. So of course I'm not a trainer. I'm a trainee. But I'm a scout, and I on Finnish Defense Forces. My part is to drive it. This what's the dirt bikes and snowmobile.
Dirt bikes and snowmobile. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's actually the first place where I learned about free ride snowmobiling. So that's how I get into this business.
Well, nice. We should have mentioned that at the beginning of this podcast. We just got that information from you right here at the end.
Yeah, I was waiting for the secret. So.
Love it. All right, guys. So once again, appreciate you hopping on. I know it's late for you guys, and there's time zones and tech, internet, Wi-Fi, sound, all sorts of stuff trying to mess up our podcast. But appreciate you guys. Really stoked to see the progression of Sledders, seeing more and more people getting excited about it and posting about it. We're happy to be involved and help out in the growth of that. So we're excited to see what 2024 brings with Sledders. And so, yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
And
we are happy to work with you.
We're going to be following along just with everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. See you in Idaho or Sweden or wherever.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.